Welcome to this special episode of our podcast featuring my Menomonie Icon project. I'm your host Carter, and today we're diving into the story of one of Menominee's most iconic landmarks, Lake Menomin. It's more than just a lake. It's a place where history, community, and even challenges come together to tell the story of this town. I chose Lake Menomin not just because it's central to Menomonie, but because it's personal. I always had the chance to grow up to enjoy recreational activities in lakes, and I think Menomonie deserves the same. In this episode, we'll explore Lake Menomin's rich history, its importance today, and what the future might hold. And of course, we'll hear a few personal stories along the way. Let's start with a little history. Lake Menomin was created in the late 1800s when the Red Cedar River was dammed. This wasn't just an environmental decision, it was an economic one. Menomonie was a booming logging town, and the lake helped transport timber downstream and power local mills. The UW-Stout & Co. Company lumber mill was the largest employer in the late 1800s and employed over 2,000 people in its prime. James Huff Stout, whose father helped found the UW-Stout & Co. Company, founded the Stout Manual Training School that would eventually become what we know today as the University of Wisconsin Stout. When the large mill closed, the river was converted to produce hydroelectricity. The Red Cedar Dam better stabilized the new lake level in 1908, and from the years 1900 to 1910, saw the efforts to enhance the natural beauty and recreational opportunities for the city of Menomonie. Additions included beaches, parks, and a boathouse that also functioned as a dance hall. However, throughout the 40s and the 50s, city officials pushed for higher lake levels and built a new dam. The new dam resulted in its popular locations of yesteryear being left underwater. Currently, the former icon sits with little new additions. Some paths and parks are the only remaining memories of the former Lake Menomin. To understand how Lake Menomin has impacted lives over the years, I decided to ask two people who know it well, my dad and my grandpa. I talked to my dad to discover how he felt about the lake in its current state. Here's that interview. All right. So what year did you graduate from college?
1997.
1997. And during your time at UW-Stout, how was Lake Menomin used at the time while you were in college?
Recreational use for boating, fishing, that kind of thing that I saw.
But nobody ever swam in the lake.
Not that I recall seeing, no. I mean, water skiers, but that's not swimming, I don't think. You know?
Yeah, no, I get that.
No. Okay, go ahead.
No, did you have anything else to add?
Well, I was just going to say, I didn't see many swimming because I wasn't there in the summer.
Okay, fair enough.
I was in there more in the winter.
I suppose.
But,
do you have any specific memories or moments that you look back and you remember about Lake Menomin?
oh, sure. I think I already told you. We'd get up and on the north side of Wigan, was our lights faced north.
Yeah.
Or windows face north, excuse me. Windows face north. So we'd get up and we'd open the blinds or whatever, and if we could see, we'd see waves blowing, and we could see it was really windy, so we know we needed to bundle up, or you could see when it froze over, you could see wind making snow tornadoes and stuff. So you could see how the weather was outside just by looking at Lake Menomin. So
that's awesome.
In the springtime, you could see warmer days when part of the lake would, thaw. You're like, oh, it's warming up. The lake's almost open. We could see, chunks of it still sitting out there, that kind of thing.
Were there lots of ice fishers out there in the winter?
In certain areas, yeah. Like in the bays and stuff. Not like in the gut middle because it's too deep, I think.
Yeah.
But on the edges, like down, I remember kids with a painter, they'd go back down the hillside and go fishing off the edge. They'd take ice tip-ups, or even from Wigan, they'd cross over on the bridge and they'd go ice fishing down from the hill from Tainer.
I guess, because Lake Menomin is so present in Menomonie, do you ever wish that you could have like the school or you could have like spent more time at the lake or utilized it more?
That's hard for me to answer because when you're there, you're so engrossed. First of all, you're in there in the winter months,
Yeah.
so it's dark at 4:35. Um, and I think recreational wise, in the summer would have been, you could go down to if they had a beach, or I don't even know if they have a beach to it. I have no idea. Or access. I don't even know how to get access to the lake. I don't even know where that is. So I don't think I. One more time the question.
So I was just saying, would you have liked to been able to like utilize it more, or wish like more school events were happening there? But also, I guess now that you mention it, if they had more access or more beaches, do you think you'd spend, or do you think you would have spent some time in there in the summer?
I think so. Like when we first got in September, there's hot days, or we moved in August. You could go do that. Yeah, I mean it would. Even a warm day in September or October, you could go down there because the 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 trees are pretty on that shoreline or whatever. All I know is from the roadside. I mean, I never went down on it. I just know it was. This is stupid to say, but it's more cumbersome because
Yeah.
that whole town is built around the lake. I mean, you have to go around. Even if you are on the north side, you have to go all the way around to get to that Culver's over there, or you have to go around that way, or you have to go the freeway
Yeah.
and around. You have to somehow get around it. It's kind of like Rice Lake. You have to kind of, if you want to get on the other side, you have to go all the way around it. There's not
Yeah. It's kind
there's a
of,
freeway over it, but not the way you want it to go. You have to physically. I mean, you look at that town where that if you're going from north and you want to go east, you have to go around that whole thing.
yeah,
I mean, even
absolutely.
those, that even the roads are funky
Yeah.
around that town. The intersections are funky because of the lake.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So it's just kind of it's there, but it's just kind of almost an annoying presence because it's not really used for anything, I guess.
yeah. I don't see. I mean, we didn't see a ton of people on it.
For my dad, the lake was a constant of his time spent in Menomonie. He has fond memories of the few experiences he had, but like most, he wishes he could have used the lake more. The idea that some people are annoyed by the body of water that helped create Menomonie is almost tragic. Similar to my dad, my grandfather shares some similar feelings. I also performed an interview with him so we can get a better idea. So, starting off, what year did you graduate from Stout?
I graduated in 67.
All right, gotcha.
Okay.
Um, do you remember how Lake Menomin was used at the time, like while you were at Stout?
Well, uh, in the summertime, they would have uh, like a ski, well, it would be water ski jump
Gotcha.
out there. And then in the wintertime, they would put a old car on there, guess the date that the car sinks. Uh,
Yeah,
those two big things that I think are the way the lake was used the most, as
gotcha.
far as I can remember. Yeah.
So there wasn't a ton of like boating activity or things like that. No, like not tons of like recreational activity around the lake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there was always a ice fishing contest also sometime during the winter, and I don't remember what time of the year, winter,
Yeah,
but yeah,
but during
I
the
never
winter.
I never participated in it, but they did have it. So
Gotcha. Do you remember any like specific like memories or moments you had with Lake Menomin? Whether it's just be like time you spent around it or maybe things you did near the lake.
well, I think the biggest thing is one year when I was there, we had to go out to what's the restaurant that's out there where the river comes in?
Supper Club. Jake's.
Yeah, Jake's. And up in there, and we had to do sandbagging because it was flooding.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Was
And
that
that,
was that in like the spring? Was there just so
yeah,
much
yeah.
around? Okay.
Springtime. Yeah, springtime. Yeah. When the ice was melting, the snow was melting. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um Now I guess another question. would you have been able to like to have used the lake more, or would you have liked to see more opportunities for recreational activities around the lake?
I suppose, yeah. You see, I was lived in the dorm only 1 year, and then I commuted the other time, a couple years. See,
I
so
gotcha.
so I wasn't in Menominee a lot, but I saw what was going on because as you commuted, you came in across the bridge there every day and went out, so
Yeah.
you saw what was happening. But as far as me using the recreational part of it, yeah, I didn't.
Um. Huh. Do you? Okay. Okay. I guess a question. Do you think you would have maybe come back to Menominee in the summer more, or maybe hung out there a little bit more if they had more recreational options around the lake, like maybe like beaches or swimming areas?
Yeah. I suppose people would. Yeah, I probably don't, right now at my age, but I probably would have then. Yeah.
Yeah, back in
Uh,
college.
yeah, I remember going to Wakanda Park a few times.
Okay. The lake has such a presence in Menominee. I mean, you really have to go around it if you want to get through the town. Um,
Yeah.
do you think it's almost a nuisance? I guess I would say almost like a bit of an annoying thing that this resource can't be utilized and it's kind of affects your movement around this city.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, because and it's similar to Rice Lake here. If you want to go from one side of town and to the other side, you got to go around the lake to get there. And it's the same thing in Menominee there. You have to go around if you're going to get to someplace there up on the other side. Yeah.
It's fascinating to see how their memories overlap. For both of them, Lake Menomin was almost just a backdrop in their lives. It's actually really sad to see such an important part of history reduced to the state of disrepair. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering, what's exactly wrong with Lake Menomin? One of the biggest issues is water quality. Phosphorus runoff from surrounding areas and farms has led to algae blooms, especially in the summer. These blooms can make parts of the lake unusable and even harmful to wildlife. Phosphorus acts as a key nutrient for algae, allowing it to rapidly multiply and form large blooms. These blooms can deplete oxygen levels in the water, harm aquatic life, and disrupt the ecosystem balance. The most obvious solution is to use less fertilizer on farms, either by utilizing less artificial fertilization methods or implementing better crop rotation. This would give the soil more natural nitrogen, so the farms would need less fertilizer that contained phosphorus. Much research has been done, in part by the DNR and also a few UW schools. One survey was even conducted here by Megan Isaacs, a former student, and Chris Ferguson, an economics professor. They came to the conclusion that every other survey did. Menominee is missing out on potential revenue, and a lot of it. Potential millions of dollars each year is simply sitting untapped. However, moves are being made. The city of Menominee has pledged new lake reforms and hoping to return Lake Menomin to its former glory. Tammy Baldwin also visited in 2019. This is what she had to say. Quote, "This was a very important piece of what I've been studying. Info I gained today, I'll be bringing back to Washington, D.C., as we take action on funding bills that fund programs that were referenced, that are very useful to the effort here." So the glass is half full when it comes to fixing the issue that plagues this small Wisconsin town. The future looks a little brighter. This brings us to an important point. Lake Menomin is more than its challenges. It's a symbol of resilience. Just like Menominee itself, the lake has adapted over time, and the community is committed to preserving for future generations. So, what makes Lake Menomin iconic? It's not just its history or its beauty, it's the way it connects people to this place. For my dad and my grandpa, it was a source of memories and reflection. For today's residents, it's a call to action to protect what's ours. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Icons like Lake Menomin remind us of our shared responsibility to honor the past while shaping the future. Whether it's enjoying a sunny day on the water or working to keep the lake clean, every moment spent with Lake Menomin adds to its story. Thank you for joining me for this episode. I hope it inspires you to reflect on the icons in your own life. Until next time, take care and keep exploring the stories around you.